Yo, what's up everyone? How you doing? Welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to do a little video today on my Kambo experience yesterday, man. It's totally sorted me out and I'm feeling amazing. No, it was really good. Basically, Kambo is a South American frog's poison, okay? That's used in a ceremonial space to help you get rid of toxins out of your body, and to get rid of any negative spiritual energy that you might have hanging around. It's something, having done several different sort of plant medicines and being involved with different groups, I was aware of it and knew of a lot of people that had partaken in doing Kambo, and it's never something that really called to me too much, and the thought of potentially your face swelling up and going through lots of vomiting and discomfort didn't really appeal to me for a long time. I've kind of gone through a lot of that stuff anyway through my journeys with ayahuasca. I've done like 20 ceremonies now, so I'm very used to kind of going through those kind of ordeals, and you know, witnessing and having the benefit in your life afterwards. And then I think the last couple of months has been quite tough for me in terms of the winter. A bit of depression seeps in with me this time of year. Work's been tough, you know, so I've felt like I've been needing something to kind of recenter me, basically. And I think living in the city in London, when you're self-employed and you're doing all this stuff over the internet and social media, it really draws you away from your center. And I really need to get back to having a kind of more regular spiritual practice. You know, I stay centered for a long period of time and then I fall off the wagon and then I have to get back on again. Now, so what happened is a few weeks ago, I had a couple of conversations with people about Kambo, about the medicine and how it works. And then randomly out of nowhere, the guys at Planet Kambo in London.com, they got in contact with me, sent me an email, said, did I want to try it out? We could come and give you a one-to-one session at your home. And initially, I sent an email back saying, thanks very much, but I don't know if it's for me at the moment, but thank you for that. Sent the email, and then 5 minutes later realised that actually it had been calling me, and I'd started getting lots of different opportunities to come forth and take the medicine. So I actually immediately emailed them back and said, forget what I've just said. To now is definitely the time. The universe is sort of nudging me in the right direction. So let's get it on. So we booked in a session, and yesterday I ended up having my first Kambo ceremony. John from Planet Kambo came round to our flat. We had the ceremony in the space behind me. I was going to film it, but I thought actually I wanted to go through the first experience just on my own and enjoy it, and sort of, enjoy it in very loose terms, but go through the experience and allow to come up whatever I needed to come up. So the next ceremony I do, I'll probably film, just to give you an idea of what goes on. I'll give you a little run through now. John came in, we created a really nice space in the room here. He said a really nice kind of prayer to open up the space for the ceremony, and then we started with a bit of the hape snuff up each nostril, which helps to really start the cleansing process. That's quite an experience if you've ever had tobacco blown up your nose before. It makes you cough up a lot of gunk, but it really clears out your sinuses, clears you kind of spiritually and energetically as well. So how we started off the ceremony, and then we got on to the Kambo. So what they do to administer the Kambo, they make burn marks in your skin. It sounds pretty bad, but it's not. It's just like a pinprick with like an incense stick. And they make these these holes in certain patterns in areas of the body. The closer to the heart, apparently, the stronger it is with the medicine. They make these holes, and they're basically just burning off the very, very first layer of skin, just to create what they call a gateway. So it's the medicine gateway, which is basically they create these holes, and then they administer the frog medicine on the holes. Now, quick disclaimer, obviously when they asked me about this, being a vegan, I needed to make sure that in no way, shape or form were the frogs harmed. And, you know, it was quite important for me. And I'm talking about this quite openly and, you know, I might get some backlash, but ultimately it was something that I felt like I needed to do. I looked into it. And the way they actually harvest the poison from the frogs, there's a tribe called the Matsi tribe. I think that's how you say it. They actually take the poison from the frogs. The frog, because of the poison that the frog actually has in them, they're kind of top of their food chain. They don't get attacked, so apparently they're very, very tame in the forests, and they literally in the jungle. They come out of the jungle and they kind of walk up, and you can hold them on your hands and stuff like that. So the tribes there, they take the poison off the frog. They scrape it off the frog, and then they let them return to the jungle as well. So there's a kind of very synchronistic relationship between the tribes, the frogs, and the forest and the jungle and everything that's going on there. So they're not intensively farmed, they're not killed for their poison. They're allowed back into nature unharmed. So that was quite important for me. And then what they do, they dry it out onto these wooden boards, and then before they administer the poison, they spray some water on the board, and they get up the poison off the board. And I felt recently like I really needed to, like I said, recenter myself. I wanted to do some sort of internal clearing of energy, of negativity that's crept in, to do with sort of being grateful and believing in myself and believing in what I'm doing and everything. So we did the ceremony. So yeah, back to the ceremony. So I ended up having, so those are my Kambo marks. They don't look that great today just because the skin obviously was a bit inflamed. John put something called dragon's blood, which is from a plant, and that helps with the healing. I've also put CBD infused coconut oil on this today, which will start healing. So you can see they've scabbed up a bit, but once that heals completely, all I'll be left with there is like some very faint white marks down my skin, like a little bit of a sort of different tattoo. So basically what happened with me, we put the first five dots in, thinking that was probably going to be enough. I was really impressed with the way John just administered it, in a way that he wasn't throwing loads of it at you all at once for you to get a really severe reaction. So starting off, he made the 5 holes, then basically administered the poison on the first hole, gave me sort of 10 minutes to see how I felt. Not much happened. You can feel like this reddening of your face. You can feel sort of pressure building up in your head and like a heat coming up through your sort of upper body. A little bit of nausea, wasn't too bad at that point. So the whole point of this is you drink 2 litres of water before the ceremony starts, and then the whole point of that is that the poison works within your body to work with the smooth muscle tissue in all of your organs to kind of express and squeeze out sort of as many of the toxins as you can. So the whole point of the process is to be sick ultimately, so that you're getting rid of the water and all the toxins, and ultimately for this yellow bile, which is what we were really looking for, the bile to sort of come out of the body. And that's when you know you're totally clear. So we did the first point. Not much sort of happened. I sort of handled that quite well. And then we did the second 2. So then we filled up the next 2. Again, a bit more nauseous, bit more kind of pressure in the head, but nothing. I didn't vomit at that point. He ended up filling up the next 2. So I had 5 full at that point with the poison on. That I don't. Again, nauseous came, but I still hadn't been sick at that point. So he decided to make three new holes. So we made 3 new holes and put the poison on those 3. So I had 8 in at that point. I think at that point I did vomit, which is a relief. With Kambo, you're just very much sat there in a state of feeling unwell and sick, basically, for the best part of, I don't know, anything from 20 minutes to an hour, depending on how they kind of administer the medicine. But I was sick a couple of times, but we hadn't really got the main kind of the gunk out. We didn't think so. Ended up wiping all of it off. We had like a 10-minute break, and then administered another eight dots on top. I did purge a lot more, so a lot more water came out, a lot more kind of gunk, and then I did spend a bit of time on the toilet as well. So we think it actually came out of me the other way. Now, because my digestive system, I don't have a large intestine, water and fluid and everything can go through me quite quickly. So I think what had happened is everything had been so stimulated, and even though I'd purged from out of my mouth, I think what needed to happen came out the other end, which is a good thing. So yeah, it was, and then we got to the end of the ceremony. John closed the space, and it was a really, really cool experience. Like I said, it was something that I needed to try and recenter me. It makes you very present when you're going through a really uncomfortable kind of ordeal like that. You just kind of have to get through it, and I think they're really good lessons in life for us. These medicines. Because the juice is always worth the squeeze when you come out the other side, and there's something to be said for having to go through struggle and adversity, certainly for the way it makes you feel afterwards. Right, it's the comfort zone. Nothing ever grows in the comfort zone, and the more time you spend outside of the comfort zone, the better it makes you feel. And that, I think those same lessons come from these kind of plant medicines, and certainly from Kambo as well. I felt pretty knackered, pretty tired after the ceremony. You have to fast all day, so I'd fasted. I think we wrapped up about 5 o'clock. I hadn't eaten all day, so I was pretty hungry. Had a good appetite last night. Felt pretty whacked and tired, and then hit the sack. Had a really good sleep. Woken up today feeling pretty energised. Feeling quite awake. I've just recorded a couple of videos. It certainly already feels like my mental capacity is kind of has grown in terms of I'm just thinking quickly about a lot of things at the moment and analysing sort of my life, and I just feel and there's an element of peace as well in me at the moment. And there certainly was the night after the Kambo. So yeah, so energy levels are feeling pretty good. I think as the days go on after this first ceremony, I should experience even more pleasantries. So I will feed back on that experience. But I can totally recommend the guys at Planet Kambo. They do one-to-one ceremonies where they come to your house, or they do group ceremonies as well. So I totally recommend, if you're in London, getting in contact with them. Really good, cool group of people, and if it starts calling to you and you feel like you need recentering and you need to get rid of some negativity, some negative energy, or some sort of internal toxins, maybe you feel like you've been eating the wrong food, drinking too much, smoking too much, taking too many drugs, being in negative situations, having negative experiences, then something like Kambo can really help you release all of that. And then be able to kind of move on, almost like shedding a skin. I think shedding an old skin so you can, or a layer, and so that you can move on without carrying that baggage around. So yeah, totally recommend it, guys. Thanks for watching again. Please like, share, follow, subscribe to this channel, and also get over to my website and download my ebook, Plant Powered Principles. It's 30 pages long, and everything you need to know about following a plant-based diet to improve your body composition. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Peace out. And plant power. Woo!